in the heart of suburban Minneapolis, where snow blankets the streets in winter and the hum of family gatherings fills the air. 27-year-old Lauren Carter stood on the precipice of a life-altering battle. She wasn't just fighting for her independence, she was fighting to reclaim her identity from a family that had long cast her in the shadow of her younger sister, Sophia. From the moment Sophia was born, 3 years Lauren's junior, the Carter household revolved around her brilliance. Sophia was the golden child, the prodigy who solved high school algebra while Lauren struggled through middle school math. Report cards adorned with straight A's found a proud place on the fridge, while neighbors were regaled with tales of Sophia's boundless potential. Sophia's destined for greatness. Their mother, Patricia, would beam, her voice dripping with pride. For Lauren, though, the refrain was starkly different: you'll need to work harder, Lauren, or Sophia will leave you in the dust. The favoritism wasn't subtle, it was woven into the fabric of their family. A constant reminder that Lauren, with only a high school diploma, was seen as less ambitious, less worthy. One evening in high school, as Lauren sat at the kitchen table poring over her part-time job schedule, her mother casually remarked, "Lauren, you'll probably get a job at a local diner after graduation, right? Maybe settle down soon after." The words landed like a punch, implying Lauren's future held no grand aspirations, no dreams worth nurturing. Her father, Richard, chimed in, "A part-time gig, maybe a cafe, then you'll marry, have kids, live a quiet life." They didn't know, or perhaps didn't care, that Lauren was secretly saving every penny from her after-school shifts at a local pizzeria, stashing away money to fuel a dream they couldn't fathom. On her battered, second-hand laptop, she studied digital marketing, devouring online courses while Sophia was gifted a sleek new MacBook for her 16th birthday. Sophia, ever graceful, once said with a smile, "Lauren's always been so practical." It wasn't meant to wound, but the words pierced like a shard of glass. That night, alone in her room, Lauren's tears soaked her pillow as she stared at her outdated laptop, its fan whirring like a tired old engine. One day, she whispered to herself, "I'll show them all." She vowed to rise above the label of the lesser daughter, to achieve a success that would rival Sophia's shining star. But deep down, a bitter truth lingered. No matter how far she climbed, her parents might never see her as anything but second best. After high school, Lauren threw herself into work. She landed a job at a small marketing agency in downtown Minneapolis, where the pay was modest but the experience invaluable. By night, she enrolled in community college business courses, and on weekends, she freelanced as a content writer, crafting blog posts for small businesses. Her parents, however, dismissed her hustle as small-time jobs. Family gatherings were a stage for Sophia's achievements, her acceptance to Yale, her flawless GPA, her poised demeanor. Meanwhile, Lauren's efforts went unnoticed, her name rarely mentioned unless it was to compare her unfavorably to her sister. Sophia, now thriving at Yale studying art history, was the family's pride, while Lauren toiled in the shadows. Unbeknownst to her family, Lauren had a secret weapon, her own consulting business. For 3 years, she'd been building a digital marketing empire, advising clients from local startups to national brands, pulling in a steady $180 a year. She kept it hidden, knowing that if her parents caught wind of her success, their demands would escalate. To them, worth was measured by degrees, and Lauren's high school diploma branded her as inferior, no matter how much she earned. The breaking point came during a fateful Christmas in 2024. The Carter home, aglow with holiday lights and the scent of pine, buzzed with relatives. Sophia had just graduated from Yale with honors, her framed diploma displayed prominently in the living room. As the family gathered, Patricia announced with uncontainable excitement, "We have a very special gift this year." Richard handed Sophia a thick envelope, his voice warm with pride. "Well done, Sophia, you're the pride of our family." Inside was the deed to a $500 vacation home in Vail, Colorado, a stunning chalet with 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, and a view of snow-capped peaks. Sophia, overcome with emotion, wept as she hugged her parents. The room erupted in applause. Everyone except Lauren. She sat frozen on the edge of the couch, forcing a smile as her heart sank. 5 years of savings from her grueling work schedule didn't come close to a fraction of that chalet's value. The celebration swirled around her, a painful reminder of her place in the family hierarchy. After dinner, Richard called her into his study, his tone suddenly grave. "Lauren, we need to talk." Spread across his desk were mortgage documents for Sophia's new home. "We couldn't pay for it outright," he explained, "so we'll be covering $2,200 a month for 30 years. I expect you to chip in half, $1,100 a month." Lauren's jaw dropped. "Dad, you bought Sophia a $500,000 house without even asking me. And now you expect me to pay for it?" Patricia entered, her voice sharp. "Lauren, helping family is what you do. Sophia worked so hard at Yale. This is the least you can do for her." The room felt suffocating. "Why should I pay for Sophia's vacation home?" Lauren demanded, her voice trembling. Richard's face reddened. "Have you forgotten everything we did for you for 18 years? The food, the clothes, the roof over your head? It's your turn to give back." Patricia scoffed. "What right do you have to decide anything? Sophia's a Yale graduate, a respectable woman. You're just a high school grad working some dead-end job." But Lauren wasn't working a dead-end job. Her parents didn't know, or didn't care, about her thriving career. To them, she was still the girl who'd never amount to much. "You've been working for years," Richard pressed. "With all your savings, you can handle $1,100 a month. Sign the papers." Lauren's heart pounded as she stood, grabbing her coat. "This is insane. I have my own plans. I'm saving for a condo. I'm not paying." Patricia laughed derisively. "A condo? What makes you think a high school grad like you deserves that? Sophia's future matters more. She'll have a real career. A real family." "I'm done," Lauren said, her voice steady despite the storm inside her. "You're demanding I pay $1,100 a month for something I didn't agree to. That's not family, that's exploitation." Richard shouted after her. "This isn't over." But Lauren walked out, slamming the door behind her. In her car, tears streamed down her face as she drove through the snowy streets. Family wasn't about love, she realized, it was about control, hierarchy, and who could be used. And in that hierarchy, Lauren was always at the bottom, expected to sacrifice for the golden child. The days that followed were a blur of relentless pressure. Her phone buzzed incessantly with calls from relatives. Her Aunt Margaret was the first. "Lauren, I can't believe you're refusing to help Sophia. That's not what a big sister does. She's a Yale grad with a bright future. You're single, working some basic job. Don't you have money to spare?" Her Uncle Tom was next, his voice dripping with judgment. "You're disgracing the family. Lauren, Sophia's the pride of the Carters. You should be supporting her." Each call echoed the same refrain. Lauren, the high school grad, had no right to defy the family's expectations. She was single, childless, and therefore obligated to fund Sophia's dreams. The pressure didn't stop there. Patricia called Lauren's workplace, sobbing to her coworkers about her heartless daughter, who'd abandoned her family. By noon, Lauren's boss, Michael, pulled her aside. "Lauren, your personal issues are starting to affect the business. 3 relatives called today, saying you're letting your family down. Maybe you should sort this out." Lauren's face burned with humiliation. "Michael, this is private. I had no idea they'd drag my workplace into this." He nodded sympathetically but added, "It's impacting your reputation. Do something about it." What no one knew was the secret Lauren had guarded for years. Her consulting business wasn't just a side hustle, it was a powerhouse, generating $180 annually. She'd built it from the ground up, working late nights and weekends, cultivating a client base that included major brands. But she'd kept it hidden from her family, knowing their demands would only grow if they knew the truth. To them, she was just the high school grad, unworthy of respect. The final straw came 2 weeks after New Year's, when a registered letter arrived from a law firm. Lauren's stomach churned as she opened it. Her parents were suing her for $400, claiming it was the cost of raising her for 18 years, every meal, every doctor's visit, Every pair of shoes meticulously itemized like a bill for services rendered. The letter's closing line was a slap in the face. The defendant, despite only holding a high school diploma, has a stable income and a moral obligation to support her college-educated sibling. That night, Patricia called, her voice cold. "Lauren, playtime's over. Pay the $400, or we'll ruin you. We'll make sure everyone, your coworkers, your neighbors, knows what a selfish daughter you are." The next day, Patricia escalated her campaign. She stormed into Lauren's workplace, shouting at the receptionist, "Get me my daughter." The ungrateful high school grad who abandoned her family. Coworkers gawked as security escorted Patricia out. But not before she screamed. Lauren refuses to support her Yale graduate sister. She's heartless. The humiliation was unbearable. Soon after, Patricia posted Lauren's photo on social media with a scathing caption, "My shameless daughter abandoning her family." Relatives shared the post, and the comments piled up. Who does she think she is? With just a high school diploma? She's single, no kids. She should help her sister. Lauren had had enough. The manipulation, the defamation, the relentless pressure. It was time to fight back. She hired Rachel Bennett, a fierce family law attorney specializing in financial abuse. At their first meeting, Lauren laid bare her secret. "I run a digital marketing firm. I make $180 a year." Rachel's eyes widened. "Why keep that from your family?" Lauren sighed. "Because they'd demand even more. They judge me by my diploma. But when it comes to money, they don't care about fairness." Rachel leaned forward, her voice resolute. "Then we go on the offensive." They filed a police report documenting Patricia's workplace intrusion, the harassing calls, and the social media defamation. Lauren also made a bold move. She agreed to an interview with a local business magazine, revealing her success as a self-made entrepreneur. The article, titled, "27-Year-Old Entrepreneur Earns $180 a Year," detailed her journey, her client portfolio, and her vision for the future. It was a declaration of independence, a signal that Lauren Carter was no longer the invisible sister. When the article hit, the fallout was immediate. Richard called, furious. "What is this? If you're making that kind of money, why won't you help Sophia?" Lauren's voice was calm but firm. "My success is mine, Dad. I built it. It's not for you to claim." The battle lines were drawn. And Lauren knew this was only the beginning. Her parents, unable to accept that their high school grad daughter had outshone their expectations, would not back down easily. But Lauren was ready. She'd spent years in the shadows. And now, armed with her truth and her resolve, she was stepping into the light. The air in Minneapolis was thick with tension as Lauren Carter, now 27, faced a storm unlike any she'd ever known. Her parents, Patricia and Richard Carter, had crossed a line that turned their family's dysfunction into a public spectacle. They weren't just demanding Lauren's money, they were suing her for $400, claiming it was the cost of raising her for 18 years. Every meal, every doctor's visit, every pair of sneakers was itemized in a cold, calculated ledger, as if parenthood were a business transaction. The lawsuit's final jab was a stinging declaration. Lauren, a mere high school graduate, had a moral and social obligation to support her Yale-educated sister, Sophia. But Lauren wasn't the timid girl they thought they could bully. She was a self-made entrepreneur with a secret empire, and she was ready to fight back. The lawsuit hit like a thunderbolt. But Lauren didn't crumble. She hired Rachel Bennett, a sharp-witted attorney known for dismantling cases of family financial abuse. In Rachel's sleek downtown office, Lauren spilled her truth. "I run a digital marketing firm," she said, her voice steady. "I make $180 a year. I've been building it for 3 years. But I never told my family. I knew they'd demand more if they found out." Rachel's eyes lit up with a mix of surprise and admiration. "You've been hiding a goldmine. Why keep it a secret?" Lauren's gaze hardened. "They judge me by my diploma. To them, I'm nothing compared to Sophia. But when it comes to money, they don't care about fairness, they just want control." Rachel leaned forward, her pen tapping the desk. "Then we don't just defend, we attack. Your parents' harassment, the calls, The social media defamation, it's all actionable. And it's time the world knows who you really are. Lauren nodded, a spark igniting within her. For years, she'd hidden her success to avoid her family's greed. Now, she'd wield it like a weapon. Rachel devised a two-pronged strategy. File a police report to document the harassment and go public with Lauren's achievements. You're not just a high school grad, Rachel said. You're a powerhouse. Let's show them. Lauren's first move was bold. She'd long declined interviews from local business magazines, wary of drawing attention to her wealth. But now, she agreed to a feature in Minneapolis Business Monthly. The article, titled 27-Year-Old Entrepreneur's $180 Empire, was a revelation. It detailed how Lauren, armed only with a high school diploma, had built a thriving digital marketing firm, advising clients from local coffee shops to national retailers. The piece painted her as a visionary, gritty, self-taught, and fiercely independent. When it hit newsstands, it sent shockwaves through her family and community. Her parents, who'd dismissed her as a diner waitress, were blindsided. The public, meanwhile, began to see Lauren not as a lesser daughter, but as a trailblazer. The fallout was immediate. Richard called, his voice trembling with rage. What is this nonsense? If you're making $180, why won't you help Sophia? Lauren's response was calm but razor sharp. My money is mine, Dad. I earned it. It's not your ATM. Patricia, meanwhile, doubled down on her campaign. She posted Lauren's photo on social media with a venomous caption, "My heartless daughter," abandoning her family for her own selfish dreams. Relatives piled on, their comments a chorus of judgment. A high school grad thinking she's above her Yale sister? She's single, no kids. She should be helping Sophia. The online vitriol spread like wildfire. But Lauren refused to be cowed. She screenshot every post, every comment, building a case with Rachel's guidance. The harassment didn't stop at social media. Patricia stormed Lauren's workplace, a sleek marketing agency in downtown Minneapolis, shouting at the receptionist, "Get me Lauren Carter, the ungrateful daughter who's shaming her family." Co-workers stared, some whispering, as security escorted Patricia out. She didn't go quietly, screaming, "Lauren refuses to support her Yale grad sister. She's a disgrace." The humiliation burned, but Lauren held her head high. Her boss, Michael, pulled her aside later that day. "Lauren, this is getting out of hand. Your family's dragging the company into it." Lauren's cheeks flushed with shame. "I'm so sorry, Michael. I never thought they'd go this far." He sighed but offered support. "Fix this, Lauren. Your reputation's on the line." The turning point came in a packed courtroom on a crisp spring morning in 2025. Lauren, dressed in a tailored navy suit, sat beside Rachel at the defendant's table. Across the room, Patricia and Richard sat with their attorney, William Hayes, their faces set in righteous indignation. Judge Eleanor Brooks, a no-nonsense veteran of family law, called the court to order. Hayes opened with a sanctimonious plea, "Your Honor, this is simple. The plaintiffs, Patricia and Richard Carter, invested $400 in raising Lauren. She now earns a substantial income but refuses to repay her debt by supporting her sister's future. It's a moral failing." Lauren bit her lip to keep from laughing. The $500 Vale Chalet was now being spun as an investment in Sophia's future. Richard took the stand, his voice heavy with feigned disappointment. "We love Lauren, Your Honor, but she's forgotten her duty. Asking her to repay $400 for her upbringing is reasonable." Rachel's cross-examination was surgical. "Mr. Carter, after Lauren turned 18, did you contribute a single dollar to her education or living expenses?" Richard faltered. "No, but we raised her for 18 years. Rachel didn't relent. "So, you provided for her as parents are legally required to do. Yet now you demand repayment like she's a loan?" When Lauren took the stand, the courtroom hushed. Rachel's questions were deliberate. "Ms. Carter, what is your profession and income?" Lauren squared her shoulders. "I run a digital marketing firm. I earn $180 a year." Gasps rippled through the room. Patricia's face drained of color. "When did you start this business?" Rachel asked. 3 years ago. I worked at a local agency, took night courses, and built my client base from scratch. Did your parents know? Rachel pressed. Lauren's voice was steady. No. They called me a high school grad, compared me to Sophia, and dismissed my work. I hid my success because I knew they'd demand money. During cross-examination, Hayes tried to paint Lauren as disloyal. You earn a fortune, yet you refuse to help your family? Lauren's response was unflinching. Love isn't financial exploitation. Demanding I pay for a $500 chalet I never agreed to isn't family. It's extortion. Rachel presented damning evidence. Police reports of Patricia's workplace outburst, screenshots of defamatory social media posts, and recordings of harassing calls from relatives. A police officer testified, confirming the Carters' actions constituted stalking and defamation. Judge Brooks delivered her verdict with calm authority. This court finds no legal basis for an adult child to repay parental upbringing costs. The plaintiff's claims are dismissed. Furthermore, their harassment of the defendant is unacceptable. I'm issuing a restraining order prohibiting Patricia and Richard Carter from contacting Lauren, approaching her home or workplace, or engaging with her online. The gavel fell, and Lauren exhaled, a weight lifting from her chest. Rachel turned to her, grinning. Total victory. They can't touch you now. The aftermath was seismic. Relatives who'd once condemned Lauren began calling to apologize. Her Aunt Margaret, who'd been at the trial, showed up at Lauren's office, her eyes red from sleeplessness. Lauren, we were lied to. Your parents said you refused to pay Sophia's tuition. I had no idea it was a $500 chalet. And you're making $180 a year. We thought you were a waitress. I'm so ashamed. Lauren softened. Margaret, you were manipulated, too. I don't hold it against you. Margaret's voice broke. We judged you by your diploma. We were wrong. The whole family's turning on your parents now. They're liars, and they've got no one left. Sophia, too, came to Lauren, broken and humbled. One October afternoon, she stood at Lauren's doorstep, her once radiant face gaunt. Can we talk? She whispered. In Lauren's cozy living room, Sophia poured out her heart. I'm sorry, Lauren. I was wrong about everything. Mom and Dad pushed that chalet on me, saying I deserved it as a Yale grad. I couldn't pay for it. And the bank foreclosed. They told me to beg your forgiveness. But I see now, they used me to prop up their image. Tears streamed down her face. You built your life from nothing. I leaned on them for everything, tuition, rent, everything. I'm working now, a graphic designer. It's not much, but it's mine. Lauren took her sister's hand. Sophia, we were both victims. They made you the golden child and me the ATM. I forgive you, but you have to live for yourself now. No more of their control. They talked for hours. Sisters at last. Equals in their shared pain and newfound clarity. Lauren's triumph extended beyond the courtroom. She bought a $280 house in a leafy Minneapolis suburb, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a sprawling backyard, all paid in cash from her own earnings. It wasn't as grand as Sophia's lost chalet, but it was hers, a symbol of her hard-won freedom. When Patricia sent a letter begging to move in, citing their retirement worries, Lauren didn't hesitate. She consulted Rachel, who confirmed the restraining order protected her. Lauren's reply was firm. Mom, your retirement is your responsibility. I'm living my life. There's no place for you in my home. She mailed it, then upgraded her home security system, ensuring her sanctuary remained inviolable. As winter approached, Lauren stood in her backyard, gazing at the stars. At 27, she was free, not just from her family's demands, but from their judgment. She'd proven her worth, not to them, but to herself. Her company was thriving, with plans to expand into new markets. Her story, now picked up by national outlets, had made her a symbol of resilience against academic elitism and family exploitation. This isn't the end, she thought, smiling. It's the beginning. Lauren Carter had fought for her freedom and won. And the future was hers to shape.